Technology, the tools we use. So how do we get there? And one of the things that we often focus on is a technology-first approach. And what we think trust architects should do is really focus on how we leverage tools to accelerate value how we uh, rather than a tools-first approach, right? So it's a business and policy focus approach first, and tools second. That being said, there's lots of tools, so we wanted to make sure we take advantage of them. So we focus on trust architects focus on open tools, standards, and protocols. And the main reason we're using open tools, standards, and protocols is for fast, easy, cheap for customers to understand the unique value. So there's a connection between openness and fast and cheap. But also because these tools are sitting at that intersection between the supplier and the buyer, right, at the direct commercial interaction, it's important that there's no third party between um, a business and their customers. It's designed to leverage existing technology investments and all built on open standards is kind of what we sort of recommend from a trust architecture perspective to take advantage of this stuff. Um, and we focus on data interoperability, semantics, how do existing systems and processes connect up, um, secure data exchange. And the key idea here that kind of coalesces this concept is that trust architects are focused on the exchange of information at the boundaries of systems. And the first system boundary that we focus on is the first one I talked about, which is the system boundary between a supplier and their buyer. And if we can simplify the exchange between those boundaries, it's easier for the supplier to access the buyer and if it's easier for the buyer to understand the value of what the supplier is selling, whether that's the core product value or more in a more detailed sense, the sustainability value or the value of the claims that are being made about the product. If we can simplify that exchange between boundaries, then the business can realize more value. Um, but this also applies when we think about community level systems. So this might be um, there might be a system that's been built to solve a community level problem. But no matter how big these community systems get, there will always be a boundary where interoperability becomes the key challenge to solve. And that's what trust architects focus on, which is the exchange of both information, but also uh, value at the system boundary. And so by simplifying that exchange, we can increase the value that is realized both by the supplier of the products and potentially the buyer as they're getting high quality information about the products that they're buying. Some of the tools we're working on, most folks or everybody here, I think, is very familiar with our work on United Nations Transparency Protocol. We view that as a trust architecture for global trade. But we're also working on a trust architecture for digital data and AI supply chains. And the key idea that we're seeing here is that information flows are also a supply chain. And if we can improve the exchange of information and improve the value at the system boundaries of tech tooling, we can also create a trust architecture for large language models and AI. And we think that's important as we think about how we leverage the tools that are emerging every day, it seems like in tech, while also maintaining sort of the social license to operate and to also create a better world, which is what we think trust architects do.